Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be showing you in brief how to create a basic bodice drape front and back. So let's begin. Okay, so I am now prepping for my draping process for this dress. It's going to be a high-low dress, so I'm going to be working with the bodice only, which is the top part, and I'm going to show you how that's done. So I'm just marking my 1 inch on my muslin. This is called muslin fabric, and that's where I marked my 1 inch line, and I'm just placing it right on the dress form, and I'm lining it up with the center front seam. And of course this can be done on flat pattern, but it's a bit more better when you're doing it on a dress form. So I'm just lining it up. I'm only working with the left side of the dress form, since the garment, the top portion of it is symmetrical. I don't need to work with both sides of the dress form. So I'm just placing pins to stabilize the fabric. This tutorial is not really for beginners. So if you just want to watch and see how the process is done, then you keep watching. But if you already know how to drape, then this should be easy for you. So I am now forming the bust dart, because this will be a fitted bodice. So I need to make sure that there's darts in the right places so that it can be fitted. So that's a bust dart. And then I'll also do a waist dart. And as you can see, the waist dart starts to form when I put in that bust dart. So now I'm going to push up my mannequin, because I like to see on eye level what the muslin is looking like, and I'm also checking to see if anything is not perfect or slanted or crooked. And I'm just lining up with the princess seams on the dress form. So I'm putting my pins on the sides, and with that leftover excess fabric, that's where my dart will be, right under the bust. So I'm just gently forming it, and I'm cutting it. I'm cutting into the fabric to release some of that ease that you see, the wrinkles on the bodice. And I'm just cutting off the excess fabric. And here I go, just forming it. And then I pin afterwards. But you see there's some tension on the bodice. See, there's a lot of pulling, but it'll be fixed once I transfer it to paper. So now I'm just marking with pencil. You could use a pen. I'm just marking all the lines, the shoulder seam, the neck, the waist, the side. And I like to take my time during this process, the draping process, because I want to get an accurate fitting, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So I like to use pencil, and I just make my markings. So now I took the muslin off the dress form, and now I'm drawing over the markings that I made on the dress form with a darker pen, so that I'm able to see my markings. So that's my side seam. I'm giving 1/2 inch ease on the side, and I'm marking my armhole. And I dropped it down some because On the dress form, it's not a normal armhole, a human armhole. So now I'm pinning together the darts because I'm gonna try it back on the mannequin when I'm done. So I'm just placing pins on the darts, and I'm also gonna put in seam allowance, which is a 1/2 inch, and that's what I'm doing now. 1/2 inch all around and on the side. And I will cut some of the excess off of the drape. Okay, so now I'm working on the back. Same process, I'm just placing the darts a little more differently than the front bodice. Okay, so after forming the waist dart, I formed the shoulder dart. And this is how it's looking now. I'm just making sure everything is nice and smooth. And this is how it looks. And now I'm gonna mark it. So again, I'm taking my pencil, making my markings, trying to be as accurate as possible. And I'm just marking the darts as well. So after taking the muslin pieces down, I trued the lines or perfected the lines and pinned it, and now I'm gonna place it back on the dress form to check the fitting. Okay, so I tried it back on the dress form. Everything is looking good, and I just made a few minor corrections, but other than that it looks good. And now I'm gonna transfer this muslin onto pattern paper so that I can use the patterns to cut out the fabric. Okay, so I have my pattern paper, and I'm gonna mark my 1 inch like I did for the muslin, and I'm gonna take my tracing wheel and trace out all the lines, my darts, my side seams, shoulder seams, and the neck. So that I can be able to trace it again with pencil with those dots that it makes. Then I'm going to put in my 1/2 inch allowance on my armhole, side seams, and for the neck I'm gonna be putting 1/4 inch, and also for the darts as well. Okay, so I'm just writing down some information. On this front bodice, I like to put my style numbers, so I'll put 7,600 different numbers so that I can know which pattern it is. And this is the finished bodice with the sleeve. I had draped the sleeve as well, but I'm just showing you the paper pattern of it just for the sake of time, because I can't show you every single thing, unfortunately. I'll show you what I can. So again, I'm tracing with my wheel the lines, and then I'm just putting in my 1/2 inch seam allowance and my notches, those lines that you see. Okay, for the bottom of the sleeve, I put in 1/4 inch. Again, putting in my important information for this sleeve pattern, and I'll be cutting 2 of these. on single fabric, not on the fold. Okay, so now I have all my pattern pieces ready. Okay, so stay tuned for the second part of this video, which you'll see me creating the actual garment using these patterns. Bye guys.